Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Dafuq Did I Just Watch? With your host, as always, McLemore. This week we'll be recapping and reviewing the latest Marvel movie, Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse of Madness. That's right, starring Benedict Cumberbatch, Elizabeth Olsen, and directed by horror icon Sam Raimi. If you haven't already, please do me a favor and like and subscribe. Helps the show keep going, and we appreciate all those comments and likes. Feel free to comment any shows or movies you'd like us to review here at Dafuq. If you have yet to see Doctor Strange and would like to, please pause now and return later, as we will be recapping and reviewing, and that means plenty of spoilers coming up. That's right, this is your official spoiler alert. I'm going to be doing that a lot, Doctor Strange Sparky Swirl thing. Doctor Strange 2, The Multiverse of Madness, marks the triumphant return of Sam Raimi to the cinematic Marvel Universe, who has not dipped his toes since the legendary disaster that was Spider-Man 3. Not only did it fail at the box office, but it was almost unanimously agreed upon that it was a terrible movie. I've read several articles about Sam Raimi taking it very personally and taking it very to heart how bad that movie did. So it's very cool to see him finally get over his self-doubt and fear and finally jump back into the universe, the multiverse with Doctor Strange. The very first Marvel movie to be officially put into the category of horror. And if you're going to have somebody make the very first horror Marvel movie, you're goddamn right it's going to be Sam Raimi. Now, before we start heading down the Sam Raimi rabbit hole of how awesome all of Sam Raimi is, let's go ahead and discuss Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange at Multiverse of Madness introduces the character America Chavez, a young teenage Latin American girl with the power to travel the multiverse. The film opens up with her running for her life. There's some kind of a demon chasing her, and she's running with Doctor Strange through this crazy, I don't even know how do you describe the multiverse, through this crazy realm. They're trying to get to this glowy book. We got to get the book before it fucking kills us. They're going, oh no, we're not going to make it. Doctor Strange is like, hey, I got to take your power, bitch. Woo! And she's like, oh, you're fucking going to kill me. And he's like, yeah, but one death versus the death of the entire multiverse. How can you even weigh that? I'm going to take your power. And then he gets like stabbed. She gets thrown through her fucking portal to the multiverse. And that's how she ends up in our Marvel Universe 616, with our Doctor Strange. And she brings along with her a dead Doctor Strange. So Doctor Strange catches up with her. They fight a big eyeball monster. Lots of fun little Sam Raimi isms in this one. There's a great shot of like the monster climbing up a wall, and there's just like this terrified girl like looking out the window, like a close up on like the cute girl glasses, like all terrified, like boom, Sam Raimi, signature move. Big old eyeball monsters fighting them, attacking. And eventually they defeat it with the help of our returning hero, Wanda, who is the current Sorcerer Supreme due to Steven disappearing for 5 years from the snap. So there's a funny little banter between them. It's pretty fun about Wanda being the legitimate Sorcerer Supreme, not Steven, who everyone knows is like kind of supposed to be the Sorcerer Supreme. But for now, it's cool. Wanda can have the title. It's all good. So we defeat our eyeball monster, and we finally get our introduction. America Chavez and Doctor Strange start hitting each other up. Hey, why are you in my universe? What's up with this big eyeball monster chasing you? And why am I having dreams about you? And like I'm dying in my dreams. And boom, she drops a bombshell. Dreams are like a window into your other universe, man. It's not just random thoughts and emotions. It's like you're peering into a window into another universe, into another self. So, we find out that alright, well, you can travel the multiverse. That's cool. Who's chasing you? This crazy demon? Ooh, that's not good. You know what? This doesn't sound like sorcery. This sounds like mother trucking witchcraft. And if anybody knows witches, it's my witch friend, Wanda. So let's go see what Wanda knows. Going down to Wanda Town. So we head on down to Wanda's, and this, for me, was probably the biggest twist of the movie. Was it? I really went. I mean, probably because of the way the trailer sells you, is they sell it as like, you know, it's gonna be like a good Doctor Strange versus alternate evil Doctor Strange, like a strange on strange battle or something. But big surprise, again, spoiler alert, big surprise, Wanda Maximoff, aka Scarlet Witch, is basically 100% the villain of this movie. We show up at her little farm and it's all nice, and he's like, hey, why don't you come help me protect this girl? And she's like, I can't help you protect America Chavez. And he's like, who said anything about America Chavez? And she's like, ooh, you didn't say her name. Like breaks the heads to show what really is happening. Where it gets all kinds of demonic, and she's got the fucking Book of the Dead, and she's sucking the life out of all the land, and she's gone full on corrupt. And he's like, this isn't cool. And she's like, look, just hand over the girl. I get the power to travel in the multiverse. I can hang out with my made up kids who exist in every other universe except for this one. Like, that's her main motivation. Is just she just wants those kids, bro. Like, she just wants to hang out with those kids, no matter what, no matter who she has to kill. She don't hang out with those kids. So that's Wanda's motivation. If you know anything about WandaVision, it might not hurt at all to watch WandaVision before you go into Doctor Strange. Wanda is trying to get with her kids who exist in other universes except for hers. So her plan is to just take the multiverse power so that she can go to whatever universe and hang out with her kids. And Doctor Strange is like, hey, that's cool, wanting to be with your kids and all, but I don't think it justifies murdering somebody. And there we have our conflict of hero and villain. So Steven takes Chavez back to Cumberbatch to protect her. Wanda blasts through Cumberbatch like it's nothing. Kicks everybody's ass. She literally murders everybody. They drop a whole river on her. Still doesn't stop her. She's going through, defeats the whole entire gang. It's only Doctor Strange and Wong protecting Chavez. They only get away because Doctor Strange tackles her through the multiverse. And this is one of the best parts of the entire movie. It's the about 15-second clip of them just spiraling through about 30 different universes. They go through a black and white universe. They go through an underwater universe. There's this New York universe, and then all of a sudden they're made out of paint, and then there's flowers. It is a visual feast for the eyes. It is just amazing to watch them. They're going through. There's a crazy demonic skull universe. It's just all these visually amazing universes that are all just flashing in a blink, and they're just spiraling through. Fantastic. One of the best shots of the entire movie. And so finally, after their travel through about 30 or 40 different universes, they end up in universe 818, I think, or 8 something. It's very utopia looking. It's very a little bit more in the future. Everything's green and super futuristic looking. So they find out in this universe that this Doctor Strange is already dead. He apparently died fighting Thanos, or at least that's the legend they're told. In this other universe, they also meet up with an old friend when they go to visit the old Sanctum Sanctorum? When they go to visit the old Sanctum Sanctorum, the temple of the Doctor Strange. It's our old friend Mordo from the first movie, who turned into a villain. But it's not really Mordo. It's Mordo from another universe, so kind of a different dude, but not really. He's like, hey, I knew one day you'd make it back, bro. I'm so happy to see you. Let's go inside. And they're like, oh, this is cool. Drinking tea. Ugh, you poisoned me. So they get knocked out. The old chloroform and the tea trick, huh? They wake up all handcuffed, and then Rachel McAdams? Rachel McAdams also making her return as Steven's love interest, but not really the same because she's from another universe. And she's like, yeah, me and this Steven were kind of whatever too, and then he died. So I'm kind of single now. What's up? And then they're like, okay, well, we got to go take you to this fucking judgment thing, because guess who's kind of, we found out, guess who's kind of wild? Doctor Strange. And he's like, what? That's right. We're going to take you to judgment in front of the Illuminati. which you can't help but like giggle a little bit. You don't know what the Illuminati? We take you to the Illuminati. The Illuminati. But okay. And here we have another like bombshell great part. If you haven't seen the movie, stop because we're gonna spoil some shit. But yeah, finally the introduction of the long-awaited Reed Richards makes his appearance in the Marvel Universe. Reed Richards from the Fantastic Four finally, after all this like years of trying to get him in and like having in so many of his own failed movies, he finally jumps into the MCU. And not only does he jump in, but he jumps in by the embodiment of like the fan casting, right? Like Jim Krasinski, Jim from The Office, makes his debut as Reed Richards. So it's like, it's amazing to like finally like, oh man, Reed Richards finally, and then also like, oh, they fucking got Jim, like perfect casting, awesome. And then they're like, hey, this is like our Captain Marvel. What? That's not Captain Marvel. That's like her friend. Different universe much? And then they're like, hey, check it out. This is not Black Adam. This is Black Bolt or whatever from the doomed television series The Inhumans. That show was terrible, but we took the one good thing and we brought it to this movie. So he's here too. And then it's like, hey, it's me, Mordo. I'm also on the thing here. Ooh, and then Peggy Carter, except she's Captain America, so it's like she just fucking randomly throws her shield just so she can catch it again and be all dramatic. Like, why'd you throw that shit? It was unnecessary. And then the biggest reveal is and then our final member. What? That's right, our final member. Dude, they played the music, man. Fucking Charles Xavier, played by Patrick Stewart, rolling in his motherfucking like yellow hover thing from the fucking show, like his cool little yellow, not a wheelchair because it fucking hovers. And then like when he rolls in, they play the fucking from the X-Men, dude. It is like nostalgia awesomeness out your ass. But it's short-lived. Oh boy, more spoilers. Seriously, stop now if you haven't seen it. Go to the movie theater. Because, yeah, riding right on the coattails of, like, the feeling of, like, wow, all these cool people are finally in the movie. You get the amazing heartbreak of watching all these people die horrifically. Starting with the best one is Black Bolt. It is so good. They're like, hey, like Wanda, she's doing this dream walking thing where it's like she can control her other self from another universe. So Scarlet Witch is back in our universe just like meditating, while Wanda in this universe gets like possessed by other Wanda. So, okay, whatever. So she's going through the facility, destroying everybody, and they're like, all right, let's go take care of this shit. Black Bolt could fucking blow you away with one whisper of his mouth, and she's like, but what mouth though? And he tries to like scream and like blows his own brains out, dude. It is gnarly and amazing. And then Reed Richards, what? In what world would Reed Richards be useful against anybody, dude? He's the rubber man. Like, his one move is what? Doing like the twisty thing where he like twirls around you and like kind of python grips you. Like, that's like his ultimate move, right? He just fucking tangles up on you. So he goes to like stretch, and she like stretches him even more until his head pops off. Or not pops off, it just fucking pops. Like, he just like, boom, and it's just like, oh, man. Peggy Carter and this universe's Captain Marvel put up a fight for like 5 seconds before they both get cut in half and then crushed to death. And then finally, Professor X is like, bitch. Don't you know I'm fucking Charles Xavier? And they do like a fucking mind thing or whatever, and it's like, okay, here we go, dude. Like, one of the most powerful mutants in the universe. If anyone's gonna stand a chance, it's motherfucking Charles. So he goes into her mind, and he's like, I can do this. And she just fucking snaps it like the old man nothing, dude. Like, brutal. Yeah, that Universe 8-1 whatever is kind of a bitch-ass universe. They're totally, like, they tell this whole story about how they defeated Thanos, and, like, you can defeat Thanos, but, like, Wanda fucking tears through you guys like butter. Where was, like, I guess the book really turned her up a notch, because where was all this shit, like, when Thanos was invading? Like, why weren't you, like, blowing his head off back then? Like, so they're running. Wanda's tearing through everybody. They go through this underground tunnel, and they drop, like, a whole river on her to buy themselves, like, 10 more seconds. She's busting through everybody. She finally catches up and grabs America Chavez and tosses Steven to, like, another dark universe and takes her back to her universe. Steven travels to some kind of universe that's, like, imploding on itself, and meets his alternate self again, who's, like, completely lost his mind because he guards the Darkhold, the Book of the Dead thing, which, like, completely corrupts. He pops open, like, a third eye on his forehead, and he's all crazy. And he's like, yeah, I'll fucking help you if you give me Christine. And he's like, oh, you seem insane. So they do a little battling. Knocks him out the window, and he's like, oh, gets fucking impaled on the fucking fence after they do this music battle with, like, the musical notes. Like, I think that was, like, the one part of the movie that was kind of like, I'm not digging this. Like, I think it was cool for, like, 1 second. Like, he stands up and, like, he touches a piano, and it's like, ping. That's a Raimiism right there. I forgot to mention that one. Like, they have a lot of the Sam Raimi music, especially that, like, when he lifts up on the piano, and it's like that high note, just like ping, and, like, the little notes float up, and he, like, sha sha sha, and then the other stranger's, like, pulling up, like, a chord and shit, and, like, like, it's like a weird music battle that they're doing that just doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't play. I don't know, it's just something about it just seems more comical than, oh, they're like fighting. It's almost like, this is like a weird comical fight. But yeah, he just tossed out the window and fucking impaled. And so the only way for Doctor Strange to get back to help America Chavez is to do what he's been talking smack on Wanda for, to do some dream watching. He's got to go into an alternate self, and the only other alternate self is the one who died at the beginning of the movie, and they buried in, like, his backyard. So he dream walks into his alternate universe's body, who's like a corpse at this point, and it is, like, just the whole visual, it looks so beautifully Evil Dead, Deadite status, like, really hollowed out eyes, and just, like, this awesome zombie Strange thing going on. He's, like, controlling, like, the necromancing demons or whatever, like, spiritual things, like, he's got them all under control. It just visually looks really cool, and, like, the way that he talks, like, all, like, kind of like that weird twitchy, like, zombie kind of thing. Very cool. So then, like, they show up. He's trying to rescue her, and Juan is like, bro, you gotta take her power. It's the only way. And he's like, no, I'm the one Strange that won't take her power. And he's like, let's fucking do this. And they're battling, and she's using her star punches to finally fight Wanda, but shit ain't doing nothing, because Wanda's just like, nope. Strange tries to do something, and, like, she shoots, like, a fireball at him, like, it burns his whole arm and, like, up half of his face. And, like, the makeup is fantastic, because he's basically, like, after that, he's just kind of, like, on the ground for the rest of the movie. All this is just, like, all melted and burnt up, but it just looks so fucking good. And then it's weird, too, because he's also, like, giving America Chavez, like, all this, like, really great motivational advice as, like, half of his face is gone, and he's basically, like, a zombie corpse. But it's great. He's just like, no, America, you can control your powers. You've had the power all along, and I believe in you. But it's just like this weird zombie corpse giving you such amazing life advice. But it's really great. The whole Deadite look, just the way that Benedict Cumberbatch is just, like, playing. I was trying to, like, really focus in on how he was doing, like, his zombie talking, because it's like, whenever you look into your powers, or just, like, this weird twitchy thing that was just, like, great, really great. And then how they defeat Wanda, they don't really defeat her. Nobody is powerful enough to even get close to defeating Wanda. The only way they beat her is like they're just like, all right, fine, I'll give you what you want. Here's your fucking kids. And she like zaps like her kid into the living room, and the kids are like, oh Jesus, what is happening? Why is our mom fucking torturing people and like scaring the shit out of us? And they're like throwing toys at her, like, get the fuck away from me. And then other Wanda's like, hey, what's going on? And she fucking like ragdolls her across the room. They're like, Mom, oh my God. So she's like, all right, well, it's going to be hard to be your mom when I'm like traumatizing the shit out of you and like you're screaming at me to go away. And she's like, oh, ho, ho, ho. And then other Wanda's like, hey, like, there's a part where, like, the big thing at the end is, like, because there's a part earlier where Juan is, like, basically begging her not to do it. He's like, dude, you can't kill somebody just to get your kids. Like, there's no, like, yeah, you want your kids, that's great, but you're going to murder another child to get your kids? Like, how can you even, like, isn't there any peace at all in knowing that, like, they're happy with you in another universe? And she's like, nope, and throws them off a cliff. But then later, like, herself is like, just know that they'll be loved. And she's like, all right, good enough for me. And if I was Juan, I'd be like, what the hell? I said the exact same thing, like, a couple days ago, like, when all this was first starting. I said, like, can't you just be happy knowing that they'll be loved elsewhere? And you were like, nah, boo. But when you say it to yourself, it's like, maybe that's the message. Like, you can only accept it when you hear it from yourself. But if I was Juan, I'd be like, hey, what the fuck? I said the exact same thing. I said the exact same thing. But yeah, and then she's like, oh, well, you know what? I think I've been kind of a bad guy this whole time. Maybe this Book of the Dead thing isn't that cool. So she fucking like, lifts the whole temple and then like crushes herself with it. And then Doctor Strange gets rescued from the imploding universe, and all things seem to be back to normal. We cut to Cumberbatch, and I don't know why I say it like that. We cut to Cumberbatch, and America Chavez is trying to learn the sorcerer ways. And he's like, hey, you know, you were using the Book of the Dead and you possessed your own dead body? Like, you sure you're okay? And he's like, nah, Juan, yeah, you're crazy. I'm all good. Anyway, let's walk out. Saw my third eye. And it's like, okay, so you got some of that evil in you for sure. That was another dope part is when there's a part where, like, he's like, when he's zombified and he tells Rachel McAdams, like, hey, you gotta protect my body. They might come for me. The spirits of the damned. And they do. They're, like, telling him not to, like, possessing a dead body is forbidden. And, like, rah. And then she's, like, talking to him through the other universe, like, Steven, you're a sorcerer. Use their power. And they do this fucking, like, badass fucking, like, electric guitar fucking wow, wow, wow. And it's like, do-do-do-do-do. Like, fuck yeah, the power of fucking metal. Wow. And that's how you control the demons, is through the metal. Yeah, fucking cool. But yeah, I'd say, like, maybe I'm a little bit biased, but just being a Sam Raimi fan, it is like, anybody who's a Sam Raimi fan, you will appreciate the hell. Like, there's these amazing, like, there's a part where they're, like, in a room and it's getting creepy and, like, that diagonal fucking, like, swoop across. Like, oh, it's so good. And then anytime, like, a door slams and they do that zoom in on just, like, door slamming. What other awesome Sammy Raimi-isms are where there? His Oldsmobile makes an appearance when they go to the crazy imploded universe where, like, shit's just floating around. You just see the Oldsmobile just, like, floating by. It's like, oh, cool. The biggest Sam Raimi-ism that there was the motherfucking Bruce Campbell, bro. Best part of the entire movie. Bruce Campbell showing up as the Pizza Papa in this other utopian universe. It is amazing. He's like, hey, Dr. Strange, you're not Dr. Strange. Like, hey, take some of this. And, like, he goes, like, squirt mustard, and, like, Dr. Strange does, like, a spell, and, like, he starts, like, fighting himself. And if you know anything about Bruce Campbell, nobody is better at doing, like, a fight against yourself than Bruce Campbell, bro. It is not only an amazing callback to, like, Evil Dead and, like, the whole hand attacking him, but, like, Have you ever seen like The Man with Two Brains? Like, dude, Bruce Campbell is next level when it comes to like physical comedy and like physical acting and like just to like the way that he like attacks himself and like screams like no, like, it is so good, and I highly recommend waiting way after the credits to the very end where you get one final little taste of Bruce Campbell, and it is just like perfection. But yeah, that was probably the highlight for me. Let's go ahead and talk about the overall goods, bads, and our overall review. What were some of the goods? Everyone in this movie brings a really great performance. Everyone's acting is top-notch. Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch is not only cool and suave, but then also there's really great moments of when he's using his magic. There's like this part where he has like these like serpents come out, and he's literally like like doing like a like face, and it's great. Like the way he sells it is amazing. He's like and then when he's like the crazy version of himself, and when he's the zombie version, dude, it is amazing. It's something about it. It's just something about being like a dead zombie corpse, but then like giving such great motivational advice, and the whole time he's like got this weird growly kind of, America Chavez, you're the most nicest girl I've ever met. You're a really cool person, and like blah blah blah. I always believed in you. Like, meanwhile doing like this. I was really honestly hoping that they would do like the Army of Darkness thing where he would be talking like, well then why don't we just like take him like fits his jaw, and like, well then why don't we like, I was hoping he would do something like that, like have to like pop his jaw back in or something like, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. I like just the way he looked all fucking melty and cool. It was really cool. Great visuals. Sam Raimi making his amazing comeback. Don't call it a comeback. He's been here for years. Sam Raimi rocking his peers. Sam Raimi, amazing. Great job. It's really awesome to see him come back to the Marvel Universe. I think for being like his first Marvel movie in like well over more than 10 years, I'd say like probably almost like 15 or 20 whenever Spider-Man 3 came out. Great return. Great to see him. He's still got the skills. Like I said, everybody was great. It was a really big surprise that Wanda was the main villain of the whole series. Elizabeth Olsen, really great. You get lots of dynamics with her as well. Not only is she really emotional and like you really feel that she like really wants to get those kids, when she flips over to Scarlet Witch mode, it's like legit kind of scary. Like she's fucking murdering people without mercy. It's like really hardcore, but in a cool way. And so let's go ahead and go with our review for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. We're going to go ahead and give it a 8 multiverses out of 10. That's right, 8 out of 10. Solid B score there for Sam Raimi making his big comeback. It could be a slight bias on my end due to my eternal love for all things Sam Raimi. I mean, basically all you had to do was show me the part with Bruce Campbell, and I'm good. After that, I was good. Everything was cool after that. Overall, Doctor Strange is a very fun and unique movie. It is the closest thing you will probably see to a horror movie when it comes to Marvel. There was a lot of tension building, and there are legit some very scary moments. There's also probably a new level of brutality in the Marvel Universe because of this movie. I think this is the only movie I've ever seen any characters die that horrifically and like die on screen like that, like not off screen, like they do it in your face, and it's pretty awesome. Highly recommend. That's gonna do it for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe. It definitely helps the show keep going, and we appreciate all those comments. Feel free to let us know any movies or television shows you'd like us to review here at Dafuq. As always, I am your host, McLemore. We'll see you next time.